Hello everyone, it's Natasha from Treasure Books. Today we are making expandable book pockets, and what they are basically is in your planners or your journals, these pockets that we have at the back to put all of our little goodies in. Only our ones look so much better than this plain one that I've just shown you. So you can really go to town and play around with this. You can use book pages like I have here, cardstock, scrapbook paper. You can make all different sizes and just have fun really. So I have the instructions here. I will leave them at the end of the video side by side so you can take a photo. In this tutorial we will make these two together. So we will make a plain one from a scrapbook page and an embellished one here that are made from book pages. Alright, let's get started. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is grab your journal or the book that you want to make the pocket for. Here we go. And also the paper that you're going to use. Cardstock, book pages, whatever you're using. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is mark the height that we need. Alright, so I want my pocket to be a little bit smaller than my cover. So I'm going to approximately mark over here. And now I need to trim this off. And here we go. So this is going to be the height of my pocket. Obviously you can make smaller pockets. So this one that I made is going to be fit kind of perfectly in there. You can see it on this side, but they don't have to. They can be, you can have a really small one. So it really doesn't matter. Now we're going to fold this in half, but I realized I made a mistake because I wrote lengthwise, which would be this way. We're not folding this way. We are folding this way. Alright, so we're folding in half, just like this. Okay, so now I'm going to check how much I need to take away from this side. So we're on step 3 and I'm just checking against my journal. So you can see how it's too large here. So I'm just going to make a mark. Maybe I want my pocket to be opening just over here. So I'm going to use this mark to fold my papers. So you can just fold freehand or use your scoreboard if you've got one. I have one, so I'm going to use mine. So that's about 3/4 of an inch that I'm scoring. And now before I fold that in, I'm just going to taper these ends just a tiny little bit. And that's step 4. You see, only a small little section. And then here as well. And now I'm going to fold where my score line is. And here we go. So this is going to be the opening here. The next thing we're going to do is work on these sides. So we are creating these folds here and here. And that's what I'm referring to when I'm speaking about the second piece of paper and the third piece of paper. So we've got this done. Now I need to trim off slightly shorter. I'll do it this way so that you can see. And it's hard to see, but my fold is here. So I'm just going to trim maybe just there. And there we go. And now I just need the exact same one on the other side as well. So I'm just going to use this as a template and mark where I need to cut. All right, so you can see now how I wrote here, it needs to fit inside, so it has to be just slightly shorter, but it needs to fit inside. Okay, so we've done that on both sides, and this is how it's going to look. Okay, so now we are on step 6, and now we need to grab these two pieces, and we need to fold it in half lengthwise. And I'll just explain what I mean here by correct side. So this is how my pocket is going to look. So this side is the correct side, which means I need to turn my piece of paper to the correct side and then fold it in half lengthwise. And I'll just quickly explain. See this point, it's going to be on the inside here, so that way when you open your little expandable pocket, this will be visible on the outside. That's why we are turning it this way and not this way, but you can do it that way too. I have. So you can see on this one, it's the same pattern all around, whereas on this one, it's a different pattern. So really, you can just play around with that. All right, so now that we have folded it in half this way, we have to fold these two open ends in half on each side. So this one comes down this way, but I might turn it around because it's easier to fold perfectly. And I want to go all the way up to the edge, just like that. Maybe I'll come it a little bit closer. Okay, and now this side we're going to do exactly the same thing. Okay, and there we go, that's what it looks like. And repeat. Because I'm using slightly sort of heavier weight scrapbook paper, I am using my bone folder just to make those creases nice and crisp. And here we go. Here are our two little pieces. Once you make one, it will make perfect sense and you won't even need to see the video again or look at the instructions. All right, so now we have these three pieces. We're on step 7. Now we take one of the pieces and we're gluing one side on the inside of the large piece. So see this here with the, my diagrams are just amazing. I mean, look at this, right? We need this to face inwards. We don't want it out there. And then we'll have this perfect, same pattern going all around. So that is how I know I need to glue this on the inside of my envelope. You could use double-sided tape here. You could use glue stick. I use 2 glues, glue stick and just another glue. Any glue will do. But I really want to make sure that it's nice and durable and it doesn't sort of fall apart. And just glue it down, align it with the side here. And I know it's hard for you guys to see, but I will bring it up in a moment so you can see. And I just want to burnish it down. Make sure it's nice and glued. Okay, so you can see here what I've done. And so when this is closed, these are lined up over here. Perfectly lined up right there. And now we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So we want this to be pointing inwards, which means that I'm applying glue on this side here. And here we go, line everything up. And this is what we end up with. So now we are up to step 8, which is fold the flap down. So see this? So once these are open to the side, we fold this one down and glue it down. Step 9 is to fold these 2 side ends in, just like that, and apply glue on top. So you can either do it one by one, apply glue here, shut it here, and then apply glue here. But what I like to do is I just apply glue on both of them and then I kind of maneuver my way into shutting it. So you just want to make sure that there's no glue seeping, or if there is, you want to make sure that you get rid of it right away. And now to shut it, I kind of hold these 2 side ends down like this. See how it's sticking up? It's hard to close because this is what happens, it's kind of difficult. So I just hold it down there and then shut it closed, just like that. And even this looks, you can leave it like this and have an envelope. You can leave this flap here longer and have a little expanding envelope. You can have these side bits wider so that it expands more. There's lots of ways that you can personalize this. Okay, so now that I'm happy with how everything is looking there, we are up to step 10. We are closing the top. So now what I need to do, obviously, is apply glue here. Okay, so I've got glue in there, and this step is kind of fiddly. So what I do is I open one side and pop that in there, close it, and then I open the other side and close it that way, and then just seal it with my fingers like this, and that is it. If I was to glue this into my journal, you can see here it would go this way. So this is my right way up, because you want your pocket to be, usually they're open from this side. And so of course what I would do is apply glue on this side or double-sided tape and just glue it to my back cover. And then I have all this extra space. I suppose you could have it on the front cover too. I don't see why not. Like this. It can open this way, or even like this. You can have a smaller one. You can have a little one like this. You can have a little one like this. See if this one would fit like that. You can make a whole heap, not worrying about sizes and whatnot. You can make a whole heap and then just have them ready for your covers when you're making journals. I might do one with book pages, and then you go ahead and you can embellish the tops. This one here, I just put a book page and a sticker over the top just to make it look nicer. Here's a little one, just using offcuts. They don't have to fit a particular journal cover, And I actually really like these book page ones. You can see, like, how cool does this look? You have little things in there. So I'm going to do a book page one now, and obviously I'll do it a little bit quicker. Here is my book page. It was the signatures were sewn in, so I was able to get the page out in full like this. But I just want to cut off the top and bottom. So now I'm just going to score. I'm not even going to measure where. Well, I'm using my scoring board, so I'll be able to see, but I'll measure about an inch. I'm just going to taper off these ends and stop at the score line, just a little bit. And now fold that in. Here we go. Now I need two pieces here that are slightly shorter, so I'm going to use the other book page, and I'm just going to mark where I need to trim. Now, the wider you leave this, the more your expandable pocket will open, but also the more this is going to stick in. So you can see this one I left pretty wide. I mean these side bits, but then this is kind of sticking in. And I also want to show you, this is the first one that I made, and you can see how I left too much space, and then there's that hole, which is really annoying. So when you're cutting it down, you don't want to leave too much space, because then you will have that hole. All right, so now fold one piece in half. So here's one piece that's going to be glued in that way, and the writing will be the right way up. That's the only thing I want to make sure. So now this one here. So I'm just thinking we are at this step here. I might need to amend this step. The way that you're going to fold really depends on the size of your paper. So if I was to fold this lengthwise, I would have to fold it this way. And that's not what I want. I want to fold it this way because it fits perfectly this way. So whichever way you have cut it to fit, you fold it that way. So it will be folding this way. Might have to make a note here. I think you know what I mean. If it doesn't make sense, let me know in the comments down below. And now we need to glue this in, so we want that point to be pointing to the inside, so it has to be glued in that way. And that's what that looks like. And now we are gluing this flap down. Now we bring these two in and we apply glue here on top. And now we're going to close it, so I just hold these ends and shut it down. And now we need to glue this flap inside. So holding one side out like that. And then we'll come back here, open it up and glue it down. There we go. So you can see the first one that I made, it doesn't really open as much as this one here. And that's why the discrepancy over here. This one I was folding lengthwise because it was longer in height. So this part here really depends on your piece of paper, how you're going to fold it. But you want, obviously, when you're marking where you need to trim, then you need to fold it that way. This is, as you can probably see, much easier to make than it is to explain. So I think let's do a quick little embellish session on this one here. So what's really nice, I think, is when you're using two different shades of book page. And I have all these discarded books that here I am ripping up, and I know some people don't like it, but I'm repurposing. Maybe I'll add a little bit of something else. Maybe another little piece of something. I'll link the edges and then see how it looks. How would this look? I made this yesterday. So if I glue this on here, maybe I found this in my scraps box. So maybe that can be like something like this. Don't know. Let's see what else I can find. Too busy. But I'm gonna do it. So this little lace was a little leftover piece from these, you see this lace here? From these envelopes, kind of pouchy things that I've been making. So these were offcuts and it's perfect for here. But the issue is I don't like this space here, so now I have to come up with something for that. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the butterfly, but the butterfly has now become the focal point, which is not what I wanted, but I'm just gonna go with it. This really doesn't need to be so elaborate. Today is filming day, but it's not a particularly crafty day for me today for some reason. And I hate it when that happens. What I want is to be extra creative when I'm filming. This was on my desk. So if you're going to use this as a expandable pocket on the back of your journal, then it's not very functional to have all these three-dimensional things there, because then you won't be able to write. So I actually really quite like it, just not for the back of a journal. But then again, if there's already all of these things inside the journal, I guess a little embellished pocket at the back wouldn't hurt too much. It looks really, really good. So for something like that, if I had that in my journal, if I would, and when I'm writing in my journal, regardless if that was there or not, I would have something underneath that I can put under the page, and then I won't have any trouble writing from all the things that are on the other pages, all the bulk. What are they called? Like a dashboard, you know, you put underneath, and then you can just move it around your journal. Even just something like this, like 2 pieces of cardstock or 3 pieces of cardstock sewn together, and then you can use that, you know. And then something like this, where there's a lot of bulk and stuff, it's not going to affect your writing. And then once this is glued down, look at all this space. You can't really see all that space, can you? Well, you can imagine what it looks like glued down. I really like it. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. I'm going to pull up the instructions now so you can take a screenshot. If you have any questions, please let me know. And here we go. Here are the instructions. You can take a screenshot or copy them down. I hope it's making sense. It was really hard to actually put into words what I'm doing. But as you've seen, it's very straightforward, really easy to do, and really quick. I hope you like it. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!